Cold sweat, dark room. Something's about to go wrong. Your eyes snap open before the sound even starts. Not because you heard anything yet, because your body already knew. That's the strange part. Right now, next to your bed, there's a small device counting down toward a moment it's going to force on you, whether you're ready or not. You built it. You trust it. You'd probably panic without it. But someone, thousands of years before batteries, before gears, before anyone had a word for morning, had to solve the exact same problem, with nothing but water, fire, and a body that refused to fully switch off. So how do you wake up on time when time itself hasn't been invented yet? Here's where it gets interesting. Start in ancient Egypt, roughly 1500 BCE, at temples along the Nile. Priests there needed to perform rituals at precise moments, especially before dawn, and they built something called a clepsydra, a water clock. Picture a stone vessel with a small hole near the bottom, water dripping out at a steady rate, marked lines on the inside showing how much time had passed. Translation? It's an hourglass, except instead of sand, it uses water, and instead of flipping it, someone has to watch it. And that's exactly the problem. A water clock tells you the time. It doesn't wake you up. Someone still has to stay conscious, staring at dripping water in the dark, to catch the exact moment the priests needed to move. So the real challenge wasn't measuring time, it was staying awake long enough to use that measurement. Now jump forward to ancient Greece, to the 4th century BCE and the philosopher Plato. Frustrated that students at his academy kept oversleeping, Plato took the basic water clock and built something new on top of it. 2 connected basins, with the second one designed so that as it filled, it forced air out through narrow openings, whistling like a kettle. Some versions of his design used pebbles rigged to drop and rattle instead. Here's the plain version. He built the first machine designed specifically to make a sudden, sharp noise at a predetermined time, with no human required to watch it happen. That's not a small tweak. That's the actual invention of the alarm. Think about that for a second. Before Plato, waking up on time meant a person had to already be awake to make it happen, which defeats the entire purpose. His water and whistle alarm broke that loop. For the first time, a machine could do the waiting, so a human didn't have to. A century later, an engineer named Ctesibius, working in Alexandria around 250 BCE, pushed the water clock even further. He added a float and valve system that kept the water flow constant no matter how the pressure changed, making his version dramatically more accurate than anything before it. He rigged that same float mechanism to power moving figures, whistling birds, and ringing bells at set times, taking the alarm concept Plato had started and making it sharper and more reliable. But water clocks had a problem nobody could fully solve. Accuracy still drifted depending on temperature, water pressure, even the shape of the container. Reliable, sure. Precise, not quite. So somewhere else entirely, a completely different solution was quietly developing. In Song Dynasty China, by around 1000 CE, monks needed a way to wake for prayer at fixed intervals through the night, and they developed something called an incense clock. A carved wooden tray, sometimes shaped like a spiral or maze, packed with slow-burning incense along a measured path. In simple terms, instead of measuring falling water, they measured burning distance, and the smell told you time was passing even with your eyes closed. Some versions went further. Small threads were tied across the incense path at specific points, with metal weights hanging from each thread. When the burning incense reached a thread, the thread burned through, the weight dropped, and it struck a metal plate below with a sharp clang. An alarm clock you could smell coming before you heard it. That detail matters more than it seems, because it shows something bigger happening across completely separate civilizations. Egypt, Greece, China, with essentially zero direct contact between these specific innovations. Different materials, different mechanisms, same exact goal, solved independently again and again. And that's the moment this whole story stops being about clever gadgets and starts being about something much bigger. Because every single one of these devices existed to solve a problem that has nothing to do with time at all. They existed to override the human body's own instincts, specifically the deeply ingrained instinct to stay asleep once you're actually asleep. Humans were essentially engineering a way to fight their own biology, using string, water, incense, and pebbles, thousands of years before anyone understood what biology even was. That's not a convenience. That's a species deciding its own internal clock wasn't good enough. Now push forward again, to medieval Europe, sometime in the 1300s. Monasteries needed monks awake at extremely precise hours for prayer, sometimes multiple times per night, and mechanical clockwork, still crude and expensive, started appearing in bell towers. One monk held the job of staying up to ring the bells that woke everyone else. Here's the twist. Even with mechanical gears involved, a human was still the final alarm. The machine measured time. A person still delivered the wake-up call. So the fully automated, no human-required alarm clock, the version closer to what sits on your nightstand, didn't fully arrive until centuries later, when spring-driven mechanisms finally got small, cheap, and reliable enough for individual households, rather than entire monasteries, to own one. Which means the modern alarm clock isn't really one invention at all. It's the final stage of a 3,000-year argument between humans and their own unwillingness to wake up. So here's what actually happened. Egyptian priests built machines to measure the night. Plato built a machine that could shout without a human watching it, and Ctesibius made that machine sharper and more reliable. Chinese monks built one you could smell working in the dark. Medieval monasteries put an actual person on wake-up duty when machines still weren't quite trustworthy enough. Each solution failed in a slightly different way, and each failure pushed the next civilization towards something a little more automatic, a little less dependent on a single exhausted human staying conscious all night. None of them were really building a clock. They were building an excuse their own bodies couldn't argue with, an external authority strong enough to override the very human, very stubborn instinct to just 5 more minutes it. Maybe that's the real thesis hiding inside every alarm you've ever silenced half asleep. Waking up on command was never natural. Humans have spent thousands of years constructing increasingly clever ways to force themselves into a version of discipline their own bodies never fully agreed to. Proof that some of our oldest technology wasn't built to conquer nature at all, but to conquer ourselves.